25 or 30 miles an hour. Drop down to the upper 40s to lower 50s tonight. Tomorrow's looking okay. We'll go lower 70s, mainly cloudy skies for a period of time, and maybe even a couple passing showers in the afternoon. But no, we're not looking at a double. In the South Jersey Weather Center on Moore Street on 99.9 FM, SNG today.
This is Mike Trout from the Angels. I proudly call South Jersey my home. When I'm home, I tune into SNJ Today's Comcast Channel 22, the radio station WSNJ 12 AM.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk with Broads. We are here on another lovely Saturday, and there's so much on the table today. It's ridiculous. We have the Eagles draft to go over, the first three picks that we selected. You also have the Sixers and the Raptors playing, and it's just, I can't believe it. It's a phenomenal time of the year. And before we get into Sixers-Raptors, I want to talk about the Eagles draft because I thought we did a great job. I thought Howie selected some good players in this draft. We attacked the offensive side of the ball. It's as simple as that. They wanted to go offense. Clearly, that was their mentality. In the first round, we make some moves. We actually trade up, and we go get ourselves a left tackle of the future, Andre Dillard, which I absolutely love. He's from Washington State, 6'5", 315. We jumped over the Texans to do this. We jumped from 25 to 22, and this guy's just electric from what I hear. He's got what it takes. He has short arms. Some people are skeptical of the short arms as a tackle. I think that's really getting too much into it. That's really dissecting everything to the extreme. I think, obviously, he did a phenomenal job at Washington State. Now, people also argue that, well, they're playing in the Pac-12. And what does the Pac-12 really get you? You don't really go up against much talent on the opposite side. But, once again, I think that's to an extreme of dissecting this thing. He has a really great chance and not an extreme amount of pressure. You go in there, you learn it with Jason Peters, a Hall of Famer. You learn it with Jason Peters. You learn with Lane Johnson, even though Lane Johnson's on the right side. And then you have the people that argue, well, there's better talent out there. Jawan Taylor and there's other linemen. Well, this kid's an actual left tackle. The other guys out there, the other linemen, they play more to the right side. This is your legitimate left tackle of the future, and I absolutely love it. We give up a fourth. We give up a sixth to go up and move to get him, and I love it. I really do. So he gave up a total of 49 pressures in 2,391 pass block snaps. He's done a tremendous job. He only allowed one sack all of last year. All of last year, one sack. Here's Howie's quote on the move. This wasn't what we anticipated. Our evaluation was this was the best tackle in the draft. Usually these guys go top 10. When he was starting to fall, we saw an opportunity to go out and get a top 10 player. I love it. I love it. Now, what does this say for guys like Mailata? Because everyone hopped on the Mailata train, and, this is what it was with that. That was a 7th-round pick who never played football in his life. It doesn't mean the experiment's over. It doesn't mean the opportunity's over. But we went out and got a star at the position, a future star in the position. Mailata, it's fun. It's fun. And there's still a long journey for him to be able to actually play. But what this tells me is, Whiteside, okay. Yeah, we had enough of that. They wanted to go out and get someone serious. And I'm curious to see if he actually plays. Is he going to get some time at guard, maybe, when Jason Peters is there? Honestly, how long is it going to take Jason Peters before he even gets hurt? Is it the first game? Is it halftime of the first game? Is it 3 weeks in? So he's going to get some playing time this year. You don't go up and get your left tackle of the future and don't expect him to get any time. So you will see him in that starting unit there at some point, whether it is at tackle, whether it is at guard, to get some experience in this league. But at the end of the day, I think that was awesome. Obviously, protecting Wentz is the big thing. It's not a sexy pick. It's not something that's appealing. It's not your playmaker. It's not your big play guy that's going to go out there and spark everyone up. And honestly, even with his mentality as a tackle, he's not going to throw guys to the ground. He's not going to pick people up and slam them down to the ground and just be this insanely aggressive guy. Nah, he just does it. He's fundamental. He gets in front of you and the quarterback. He does it the fundamental way, and he is good at angling. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting the job done. A knock on him is the run blocking. He's not a great run blocker. But passing, tremendous. And what do we do, though? What do we do? I've seen Doug Peterson now throw the ball 85% of the time, it seems. So you got to get it at the pass block. He's an elite pass blocker. All right. So that's what we did at the first round. In the second, this is where things get iffy. This is where people are getting a little more skeptical of Howie's decisions. Not with the first pick. Because with the first pick, we go out and get Miles from Penn State. And this is awesome. We haven't drafted a running back this high in so long. And I like it because Miles, character-wise, this is the first thing I remember, character-wise. Miles Sanders sat behind Saquon Barkley for 2 years without getting touches. You don't see that in college football. Guys who have to sit out, what do? They transfer and they go elsewhere. And I know this could be stupid and overthinking things, just like I said with Andre Dillard with the hands and the Pac-12. Is this overthinking things when it comes to character? I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of meaning behind that, to sit behind a star player like Saquon Barkley. First back we've taken in the first 2 rounds since Shady McCoy. And ironically, he was 53rd overall as well. I love this move. We actually get a legitimate back. I feel like, believe it or not, I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I don't think Jordan Howard is as great as people are saying he is. He's not bad. I don't hate him. I think it was a great pickup. I would have done it. But I think people are remembering his 2016 season saying this guy's going to be the next Adrian Peterson. Well, let's slow the roll. Picking up Miles is amazing, and we're still going running back by committee. We're still going running back by committee. But once again, just like with Andre, not as much pressure. Because you have other guys. You have Howard. You have Corey Clement. Maybe even Josh Adams. You have other guys, but to have someone like him, it's amazing. So in his junior year, he goes for 220 carries, 1,649 yards. 24 passes, 139 yards. Not a lot of carries. I love it. Raw. I love it. You don't want to have someone that has 700, 800, 900 carries in college. His body's fresh. His body's fresh. This is a quote from Miles. I showed my ability to break tackles. I showed I can catch the ball smoothly, blocking, not making mental errors, and protect my quarterback. I like how he mentioned protecting his quarterback. Most running backs talk about how they're explosive, how they can break tackles, how they can hit the seam, how they can make people miss. This guy says, I want to protect my quarterback. Which goes hand in hand with what it seems like we're trying to do this draft, is protect the quarterback. His combine, 4.4940. In the 3 and cone drill, best in the running backs. Is he better than Josh Jacobs? All-around back? It's close. There's no denying that it's close. And that's fine. That's fine. One knock on Miles. He does fumble. He does fumble. Keeping the ball in his hands has to be fixed. And he's young. He's going to obviously learn that. We got a good running back staff. We got a good running back room. We got good coaches with that. He will learn. But I love it. I think right now the pecking order goes probably Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, Corey Clement, and then throw in either Josh Adams or Wendell Smallwood, whichever way they end up electing to go. And here's where things get a little iffy with Howie. And keep in mind, we had picks like another third that we gave up because of Golden Tate. Or was it a fourth that turned into a third if he re-signed? I forget off the top of my head, but we had another pick that we gave up. But I'm not mad at that. You can't be mad at giving up a pick for Golden Tate last year. Last year we were going for a run. We were screaming at Howie to go make a move at the deadline, go get someone. And we all loved Golden Tate at the time, did we not? We all sat there, we were pumped, we were stoked. It didn't work out. All right? I'll live with taking the chance. I'll live with giving us an opportunity. So it is what it is. We go after a wide receiver with the second round pick. And I like the pick. The pick doesn't bother me. It's what else was on the board. It's not him. I'm not upset with him. And I sit here and I still say I think Howie's done a great job. A great job. I would have liked a corner or a safety. I would have liked a safety. I would have liked something like that. But JJ Arcega-Whiteside is solid. He's a good player. Played at Stanford. He is Alshon 2.0. And one thing that you got to remember with Howie Roseman is it's not just this year. And I know we're ready to win now, and I get that. But that's why he's a great GM. There's other things in his brain. Well, what's Nelson Aguilar going to do next year if we don't end up trading him? Are we still going to have him? How much does Alshon still have left in the tank after he hits his 30s? This guy is an Alshon 2.0. Big body, not really fast, tremendous hands, boxes out, 50-50 balls, a red zone weapon. A red zone legit weapon. I would have liked a safety. Because I take a look at our core at safety, and yeah, it needs some youth with Malcolm back there. It needs some youth with McLeod coming off an injury. We pick up Sendejo. How much is he? I'm okay with all three picks. It's clear we're going offense. It's clear we're helping out Carson Wentz. We're giving him 2 weapons, and we're giving him a left tackle. We're giving him weapons. And our skill players are legit. I mean, when you take a look at this depth chart, right? I mean, for our wide receiver core, with Alshon, Deshaun Jackson, Nelson Aguilar, and now JJ, right? Awesome. What's Matt Collins? We don't know. Running backs, Howard, Miles, Corey Clement, Josh Adams. Tight end, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. It's one of the most powerful offenses there is. And we still have a great offensive line. Lane Johnson's at the top of his career at right tackle, probably the best right tackle in football. Jason Peters, when healthy, he's dominant. Jason Kelsey, dominant center. It's crazy what our offense is. I'm not mad at JJ. It seems like it's not very productive because of what we have, but you got to think of the future as well. And I know people are complaining, well, everyone just gives Howie way too much credit. He can't be criticized at all. And well, I think he deserves some leeway, and you got to trust him to some extent. But don't just be upset with the pick because, 1, you never seen him play, or 2, you think we needed a safety or a linebacker. Let's see how it plays out before you criticize. I think it's a great move. I like all 3 picks. Again, with the 3rd pick and the 2nd pick in the 2nd round, there were other looks that I would have given, but that doesn't mean this isn't a quality pick. It doesn't mean he won't be a star. When we're in the red zone, it's going to be hard to stop us. Are we going to Ertz? Are we going to JJ? Are we going to Alshon? Are we going to Aguilar? Are we going to run it? Are we going to play action? What are we going to do? There's so many lethal weapons. Now, we have a pick today in the 4th round, and I wonder if we go an inside linebacker role because the 3rd best on the depth chart is still in play. I know fans are also upset with not going out and getting DK. DK's a big name. He's this speedy receiver. He dropped almost out of the second day. He ended up getting picked up by Seattle. I think, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know more than Howie Roseman or I know more than other guys, but I think he's a big name. He's a big name, and that's why people got attached to him. And he's fast. Well, clearly we weren't going for fast receivers because there were other guys out there. We went with the big body, 50-50 balls, threats. And we're going to have to see how it plays out. But I'm giving Howie the benefit of the doubt. And we need to hit these guys. Like, these guys needs to hit. Right now I sit here and say, yeah, I like what we drafted. I like what we got. I'm okay with the thought process behind all of these players. But they need to hit. We need these players to hit. They need to be legit. We can't have Humphreys. We can't have guys like that. These players need to go out and perform and be legitimate players. Yeah, I've seen DK's combine. That's great. But that doesn't mean there's not other players out there that can provide you stuff. He's a name. He's a name. It's crazy because I wasn't pumped. I wasn't pumped for the NFL draft. right? Isn't that weird? It was the day of, and I'm sitting there, I got nothing. I got no gut feeling. I got nothing about this. I got nothing. Then I heard the first pick. And I got this giddy feeling. I got all happy. I got all excited. I forgot what it was like. I said, bro, what the hell are you doing all day saying you weren't pumped for this? I sat there, I couldn't change the TV. Now, it was a lot that day. NFL draft, Phillies, playoffs. I'm sitting here on one of these with 3 TVs like I always do. The NFL draft's awesome. It was to the point where I couldn't wait till 7 o'clock last night for the Eagles' first 2 picks. And right now I sit here and I say, I can't wait to see what Howie does today at the finishing touches. What's he going to do? What's he going to grab in the 4th? What's he going to do here? Let's keep it football, though. And let's keep it in the division. Because I thought 2 teams did some interesting things. The Cowboys drafted defensive tackle, I think, yesterday. That's nothing too crazy. But the Redskins and the Giants, well, let's talk about that. What Gettleman is doing is actually vomit worthy. If I was a Giants fan, I put myself in their shoes. Believe it or not, I don't feel bad because they're a division rival. But I sat there and said, if my coach or my GM were making moves like that, it would be a legitimate riot. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. What a joke by the Giants organization. Daniel Jones at 6. And I'm not here to tell you that Daniel Jones is a legitimate bust. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, right? Go out there and play. Go out there and do something before I can sit here and criticize. But the thought process on when to get him, what you gave up on, what you drafted at 17, that's the issue. So you get Daniel Jones, and listen, your quarterback's an exception. It's not always who's the best player. When it's your quarterback, you go get your guy. You go get your guy. Doesn't matter what pick, he's the quarterback. He's the most prized possession. So it makes sense to get him at 6. But to think that there were other teams biting to go get Daniel Jones, you need to know the market. You need to know the market. So you pass up on Josh Allen to get Daniel Jones. Then at 17, you reach for Dexter Lawrence, who's a 25 to 30-ish pick in the draft. So you reach once again. You get Baker, a corner at 30, who was an okay player. It's tough to analyze that pick when you crush the other 2. You'd brutally just crush the other 2. You could have got Josh Allen at 6, and if Daniel Jones is still your guy, you get him at 17. And they said that 1A, 1B was him and Locke. No way both of those guys were going. You need to know the market. Locke didn't go until the 2nd round. You have to know your market, and they botched it. It's unbelievable how bad they really did. And that goes to my other point with the Redskins. The Redskins had an A-plus draft. And listen, I don't think they did anything crazy. It just fell into their laps. So it's not like they're normally this team that just outworks everyone mentally. It just fell right into their laps, and they took control of it. Dwayne Haskins, beautiful, outstanding pick there. They didn't have to move anything. They just got him. It fell right on their laps. Then they get swept in the 2nd pick in the first draft. They had an excellent draft that fell right on their laps. There's no denying it. With the Redskins, though, Dwayne Haskins doesn't have a ton of weapons right now. And their run game is old. And what is their head coach? And even Urban Meyer said, this kid's got it. This kid has it, but he's right. He needs time to develop. He's not there yet. He had an awesome year, 50 touchdowns. It was awesome. It's funny because you take a look at that 1 year, then you take a look at what Daniel Jones did over 3 years at Duke, and it's ridiculous. And getting back to Gettleman, even in the interview, he said, well, I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe we do a Favre and, why am I drawing a blank here? Come on. Aaron Rodgers type thing. Maybe he sits 3 years. Maybe. What do you mean, maybe? You just drafted this guy 6 overall. Maybe 3 years to see Daniel Jones? And he's saying, I watched film on him, and then I saw him at Senior Day. Senior Day? That's equivalent to an All-Star game where no one plays. Oh, I do feel bad for Giants fans, but at the same time, I'm sorry, I just don't. That's part of the beat. Like, I wouldn't be upset if it was the Cowboys. And think about the New York teams. The Jets now and the Giants, Two totally different sides of the spectrum. And just wow. You know, just wow. So I know we have some Sixers Raptors to talk about. I just want to, we'll finish up with football first so we're not flip-flopping back and forth. We will talk about the Sixers Raptors tonight, of course. But real quickly here, I guess we'll just go over some of the other first-round picks and some of the other picks. I hate to admit it, and this shouldn't surprise anyone, but the Patriots had a phenomenal draft. They get Damian Harris from Alabama. They get that defensive end from Michigan who's a stud. They pick that wide receiver in the first round. I don't get the Patriots, man. They just do it right. I think they nailed their draft early. Sucks. It sucks. So anyway, early. Kyler Murray goes first overall, and Josh Allen ends up sitting there being salty. Steve Smith attacked him on the broadcast. I thought that was a joke. Just terrible. There was no reason to attack Josh Rosen for this situation, so I hated that. But he gets traded to Miami. And that's interesting. And Miami gave up essentially nothing. Second round pick, second and fifth, I think. Go ahead. Take a shot. Can't hurt. Take a shot. What do you have to lose? Nothing. I like the move by Miami. I really do. And I hated the way the Cardinals handled it. If you trade Rosen before you get Murray, you have more leverage. Now the other teams have the leverage. The Raiders, see, this is interesting because I didn't think they did bad, but they reached. I didn't think they did bad. They got good talents. The Raiders at 4 got Farrell, and that's where they reached. Good player, way better guys on the board. Josh Allen on the board. Josh Jacobs running back with their later first-round pick, and then they get the safety Abram from Mississippi State, and I think that's a good, solid move. I like what they got. They just could have gotten a tad bit better. The Jags, Josh Allen falls to the Jags. How? That is going to be a lethal front. Good for Nick Foles. He got a defense that is going to be elite. Here's what I thought was a great pick, and once again, it's a team that it just fell on their laps. It just fell right on their laps. The Dolphins at 13, Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle from Clemson. It just fell right there for him, but I love it. I think it's a great move. My girlfriend's brother, diehard Dolphins fan, and when it happened, I'm like, great. I mean, that is literally a perfect snag. Maybe a Fletcher Cox-ish type of player. Well, that's what Quentin Williams from the Jets thinks. He's more of a Fletcher Cox, if you ask him. But I thought the Jets got a great pick there as well. The Steelers move up to get Devin Bush. I don't value a linebacker to that degree, but he's a freak athlete. He's at the top of his game. He's the best defender out there for that position, of course. And he's a gamer. So other than that, that's pretty much what I thought about the first round with some of the bigger moves. Of course, there are other things in there, like the Bills got Ed Oliver. At 25, the Ravens got Marquise Brown, which people thought we were going to go out and get from Oklahoma, the wide receiver. But when we moved up, I knew instantly that this was going to be a full-on move for a lineman or a defensive lineman. So just, that's where we are here with the NFL draft and the Eagles. I give the Eagles a solid report card, but they need to make it happen. These players need to go out there and execute, but I'm not mad at it. To go out and get a left tackle, Andre Dillard, phenomenal pick. He's up there in linemen. And I love the fact that we attack offense. So, on the other side, let's dive into some Sixers Raptors, because that's tonight. It's exciting. I'm super pumped up about it. No Mike Scott. It's going to be tough. We'll get into that on the other side. We are on commercial, fellas. The Union Whitecaps. We are on commercial for a couple minutes. We got a couple minutes. Thank you very much. Who was talking about what happened with Jimmy Butler? What happened with Jimmy Butler and Tobias? Who's reporting this? Maybe linebacker. Just rumors. Who's reporting the rumors? I know. It does kind of suck. We don't have 2 picks today. Where's my pen?
Jacoby made it out of sight to be a success, and yet the Bible is to know that him and others who want to follow his footsteps.
One time somebody asked me at an event, and they said, "Hey, how do you kind of do yourself?" I said, just thinking about people from home who would never be able to get to see what I'm seeing right now. All those experiences,
I know, I will. I've just been super busy with school. I will, though, I promise. Just got to find time for it.
technically they never have the opportunity to see that experience, to be able to at least have a shot to do so.
The youth of South Jersey come to Jacoby for entertainment advice.
Oh, it's going to be a tough matchup. There's no denying that.
Probably one of the only people I've had.
Number 1 Phillies fan ever? Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Advice, is always here.
You're ridiculous.
Uh,
Linebacker is obviously concerned. I was thinking safety. This is my phone, yes. I put my phone up while I'm at the radio station. It's the easiest way to do it. Is the lighting brutal right now with the window in the background?
For the best quality and finest floral arrangements for any occasion, trust Colonial Flowers. Colonial Flowers works with you and crafts the perfect arrangement to meet your exact specifications. From the time you visit the store or website until you have your dream arrangement, our only goal is to make your experience perfect.
Thank you.
All of Cumberland County with free delivery to
I did nothing about it.
Colonial Flowers in Millville. Hometown business, world-class arrangements.
Hey, it's Jonathan here from the Positive Perspective Morning Show.
If you like food, then listen to that.
How much we got here? We got about
On the road, we have our first online
2 minutes. 2 minutes and then we're back on the air.
market on Route 40 in Elmer.
Stop by on Friday, May 3rd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and enjoy free samples.
Yeah, we'll go Sixers Raptors next.
So much more.
Nice. I'm going to the Jimmy Rollins one. Was it next Saturday?
We have lunch special that day.
No, this is like a Milwaukee Tools. Like Milwaukee Tools. I get that every time so I wear the shirt.
Half a salad and a cup of soup.
Plus, anyone who stops by can enter for a chance to win a new Dodgers Market gift basket valued at over $250. The drawing will be at 1 p.m. and you must be present to win. And
Mark Gasol, probably. Yeah, May 4th. Yep.
Lunch and laughs on Friday, May 3rd in Elmer at the new Dodgers Market.
That's who I want. That's who I want. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's who I want. I thought we were going to pick him with the second pick.
Orbit Energy and Power. We set the standard of excellence for clean energy and clean water. Whether you're looking to add solar
All right.
to your home or company, Orbit Energy and Power works directly with you.
I'm going back live.
Best deal. Visit us online at orbitenergy.us or give us a call at 1-800-836-3987 to receive your free, no-cost, no-obligation solar power site evaluation. Orbit Energy and Power, generating solar energy that makes the world go round.
Welcome back to Sports Talk with Broge on this lovely Saturday. I always say that because you know what? Every Saturday's lovely. When you wake up, you have your coffee, you come in, and you talk sports in the morning. Tell me a better morning than that. I don't know if there really is. Well, I'll tell you what a better Saturday is when you do that. And then there's a Sixers game tonight. Are you kidding me? Game 1, round 2. This is huge. And you ask me and say, Broge, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? What do you think is going to happen? And I say, flip a coin. I think it's 50-50. But now we lose Mike Scott. And Zaire Smith has to play legit minutes, and that concerns me. The guy's got 7 NBA minutes, all right? The guy hasn't played, and you're throwing him into a Raptors series in the playoffs in the second round. This kid has literally not played in the NBA. I can't even count it yet. So I'm not counting him out because I think he's got an awesome mentality, but it's not ideal. Mike Scott, veteran, been around the league. I just feel more comfortable with him. But listen, you got to play the cards you're dealt. It's a brutal injury, and this series, it's going to come down to Ben Simmons. It's as simple as that. It's going to come down to Ben Simmons and Brett Brown, and he's going to have to get creative. He's going to have to get unique. He's going to have to find ways to make it happen. He's going to have to give these Raptors players looks where they just They haven't seen this before. They haven't studied this in film. They don't know what's coming. We need to be different, unique, and make them play on their heels. And I have to sit there and say this. Now, one thing I have to factor in here is you cannot get too emotionally attached to game one. We lost game one to Brooklyn. How did that work out? We won the next 4. And I know we're not playing the Brooklyn Nets. I know that the team different, that the talent level is different. But what happened in game one with the Toronto series? They lost. I would love to go in there and win game one. I'm not sitting here saying let's not win game one, because if you win game one, you lose the series. But what I'm saying is this is going to be a process of matchups, a process of adjustments, a process of switching things up to give teams different ideas and different concepts. And if this worked one game, shut that down and fix the next. It's going to be a chess match throughout the entire series. Whatever happens here in game one, it's a feel-out game. Game one's so tough. Game one's so tough because you just don't know. You see it, you feel out game one, and then it's a little bit easier to kind of get the concept and move forward with what you're going to change in the next game. But listen, I think it's ridiculous how much the Sixers are getting disrespected. I really do. I think they're getting disrespected, and it's not because the Raptors aren't good. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we're getting written off. And I feel like that's unfair. We're getting written off. There's no way. There's no way the Sixers can do it. But why? Why can't we do it? The Raptors are good. They're not Warriors good, right? They're not the Warriors. They're not the Houston Rockets. They're a good team, though. They're a good team. But they're a beatable basketball team. Don't make it seem like they don't have flaws. Talented, deep. But our starting 5, and if we find a way to make it work, here's going to be the thing. It's finding out how to make this 5, this JJ Redick, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. It's how you find a way to make them the most effective while limiting their minutes but playing them a lot, if that makes sense. You're going to have to find times to rest Joel Embiid. Is Boban Marjanovic going to be able to play in this series? Probably not. Is Jonah Bolden going to be able to play in this series? Probably not. But we need to find a way to give Joel Embiid some rest, but still play him majority of the basketball game. I know that sounds silly in your head to say, but you need to find a way to make it happen. Because the only way we win is to have our starters in there. Mike Scott being out is very, 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 very crucial. Because he was a 6th man that you can rely on to come in and play a 4 role. And even a 5 if we had to be. People are saying Greg Monroe. Greg Monroe, we saw him playing the Nets series, and that made me want to vomit. Guy was getting torched defensively. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to wait and see, honestly. It would be nice to go in there and shock the world. Game 1. How great it would be. But this is a big series. This is a monstrous series for our team. And I know we have to re-sign Jimmy Butler. I know we have to re-sign Tobias Harris. But what do we know? What do we know about the future of the Sixers? And I think we're going to get that done. But what do we know about the future of the Sixers? Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, right? We know that that's the future of the Sixers. This series is monumental when it comes to their growth and their development. And everyone's now is, win the championship now. We have the best 5. Brett Brown should be fired. We got to get out of the second round. And I agree to that extent. But we need to value this in another mindset as well. Of course, that's the irrational, in the moment, Philadelphia sports fan, scream your head off, get pissed, you have to win the title. But there's a journey involved. How long did it take Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and that Golden State Warriors team to get rhythm to where they are now? I know they added players. I get it. They got Kevin Durant. I know that. But they didn't just come into the league in their second year. Steph Curry was bringing them to the NBA title. This is a big series for Ben Simmons alone. And I have a quote here from Brett Brown on Ben Simmons, and I love it because I think he's learning and he's taking his game to the next level. And maybe not, we'll have to see how his physical play is, but mentally he's taking a huge step towards growing as an NBA player. Here's Brett Brown on Ben Simmons. Ben has changed in terms of preparation in this year's playoffs. Extra film study, focusing on details, and etc. And that might seem silly. What do you mean, bro? He's watching film? That's great. It goes more than just he's watching film. It's the mental side of it. It's the will. It's the dedication. It's the focus. It's the determination to be a legit NBA player in the playoffs. I think he knows that Kawhi Leonard's going to give him a hell of a matchup. I think he remembers all the times that he was getting destroyed defensively, turning the ball over. He knows, and he knows he needs to be the X factor. He knows he needs to be the player to step up in this series for this team to be legit. So I sit back and I'm ready to embrace the journey of Ben Simmons. It's not always going to be perfect. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be mistakes he makes here. There's going to be mistakes he makes there. And that's same with Joel Embiid. As great as Joel Embiid was against the Brooklyn Nets in Game 4 where it was all great and we won, how about those 2 late brutal turnovers? There's still things that have to be noticed and picked up on. 2 brutal turnovers late for Joel Embiid in that Game 4, that exciting Game 4 that we pulled out. There's going to be moments like that because that's called learning at the NBA level. Find me a second-year point guard that's has 0 flaws. It just doesn't happen. But we need to see Ben in that mentality of Ben. When we booed him and he stepped up the next game to make a statement. When Jared Dudley said he stinks and he has no half-court game, he thrives off that. We need him to get to that level without that extra momentum. We need to see Ben Simmons do that on a nightly basis without the fan base, without someone else sparking him to do it. He needs that. And once again, this is all part of the journey. This is all part of the learning experience. This is all part of him having to find a way to get it done. And it's a big moment on him, and same with Joel Embiid. But I just think with this underdog mentality, because nobody believes in us, because nobody thinks we can do it, maybe that really helps this locker room. See, this locker room has taken a big step. You felt the gel in that Nets series, the fight that broke out. I don't know if we're going to go as far as fight, but the scuffle between Jared Dudley and him, that the scuffle. It brought the team together. People stepped up. Joel Embiid gets pushed. Jimmy Butler pushes back. Jimmy Butler after the game says, I'm sticking up for my big man. Joel Embiid says, I'm paying the fine. Joel Embiid says, Jimmy Butler's the closer. They know each other's roles. I think there was a gelling moment in there. A gelling moment. And they're playing good. They're playing with a lot of flow. What we did in Game 5 was awesome. You have to factor in that we were playing the Brooklyn Nets and not the Toronto Raptors. I know all that. But you can still take a look at defensive rotations. That doesn't matter about who you're playing with. Defensive rotations is communication, knowing where everyone's going to be, being on the same page as a team. It doesn't matter if you're playing the Brooklyn Nets or not. That's something that you just do as a team, cohesive. And we did that in an effective way in Game 5 against the Nets. And you can take that and move forward. Brett Brown, one thing he loved about the first series was how we did defensively. What we can take out the most, the defense. That's an effort thing. That's a hustle thing. That's a will thing. That's a determination thing. And I think we are going to just come out with a sense of swag, knowing that we are underdogs. We know Philadelphia. We can embrace that underdog role with ease. We really can. This isn't a 1v7. This isn't a 1 verse 8. This isn't a 2 verse 7. This is a 2 verse 3. Give us some respect. Whether it goes 6, whether it goes 7, whether the Sixers win, whether the Sixers lose, we're going to be involved. We're going to give them a battle. We're going to give them a lot. I'm not saying we should win this. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying we have enough to beat them. I'm not saying we don't have enough to beat them. I think we have enough to be in a long grind-out series where the better team ends up winning. Whoever that may be, the better team is going to win. They have players. Marc Gasol. People are saying Marc Gasol is going to shut down Joel Embiid to an extreme. Listen, Marc Gasol, good player, good post defender, and I'm not sitting here and denying it. But you act like this guy's going to legitimately shut down Joel Embiid. I can't find that reasonable. I can't find the logic behind it. Shut him down? What does that mean? 25 points and 13 rebounds? Like, what does that mean? What does shutting down mean? There's no way. No one can defend Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is the best player in the NBA at that position. He might make him work hard. He might make him turn the ball over a couple times. Not shut him down. The issue is going to be J.J. Redick. The issue is going to be J.J. Redick because defensively, he was brutal. Defensively, he struggles. And one thing that Brett Brown said that they changed was the way they helped defense with JJ. The way we had JJ split through screens. Fight through screens. That was a difference maker. And that's going to be a problem. Who is JJ Redick going to defend? Is it going to be Kyle Lowry? Is it going to be Danny Green? Where are we putting J.J. Redick? That's a big thing. And how are we going to help him when things go wrong? Because let's be real, they're going to torch him. They're going to torch him. They're going to try to attack him. That's what teams do. And it works at times because J.J.'s just not a great defender. But you need him out there because he stretches the floor offensively. And whether he misses the first 9 3-pointers he takes, he always has the ability to make the one. And that's just reality. He always has the ability to make the one that you need. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't insanely pumped up for this game. It's going to be unreal. So on the other side, we're going to take a break. On the other side, I'll dabble Phillies in there because we're 14-12 and it hasn't been pretty. We've been in monstrous slumps. But we'll dabble with some Phillies and we'll recap some of the conversation that we had today on the other side here. So thank you so much and we will be back soon.
Raising kids can be tough these days. As a parent, you've got your hands full making sure your kids have.
I don't know what happened with my camera. It just like fell. Oh, all right. I guess for the end segment, we'll just keep it like this as it keeps sliding.
All the way up to age 19. They can get regular checkups, immunizations.
I personally don't have the stats for that, but the people of the radio station have the stats for that.
Children in a family of 4 earning up to $47,700 a year or more may qualify, and parents may be eligible for Medicaid too. It's a helping hand for parents.
I actually got a job at 97.3 ESPN sports radio with Harry Mays and Eitan Shander, and I started in about 2 weeks. Off-air job, but getting my foot in the door, if you will. I'll be doing a lot of off-air stuff. Super pumped about it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm not actually on the air, though. It's off-air stuff, but... He's only balling because we have no other options. It's kind of like we have no one else to play. Coffee running. No, I'm not coffee running there. That's the point. That's what I would have been doing at WIP, though. Let's hope so. Both. Keep them both. I think we shocked the world. I think we shocked the world. Yeah, the Phillies need to win, man. Yeah, I mean, he might, but it doesn't mean he's the right option. It's like the only option. If Mike Scott was playing, Zaire Smith would not be in the game. I hope so, dude. I hope so. FedQ's good people. All right, we're gonna have like an 8-minute segment to finish it off. Yeah, I love the Eagles draft so far. I really do. I don't know what happened with my camera, by the way, when it just completely fell. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to try and tire him out. FedQ is solid. I think we're looking more into the future with that wide receiver pick. Oh, man. All right, we got about a minute and a half.
By calling 856-324-3535 now.
Partly sunny skies reach out your Saturday afternoon. Things are looking really nice out there. Temperatures are gonna
I think everyone's got their hands full tonight.
today, and it's gonna be
Nah,
nice.
probably not.
We can do about
I don't think we will extend Howard now.
Gusts to over 25 or 30 miles an hour. We'll drop down into the upper 40s or lower 50s.
I thought EDP liked this one. Didn't I hear that EDP actually liked this one? Yeah, Siakam is balling.
Skies for a period of time, and maybe even a-
All right, I got a 30-second countdown until I'm back on.
We're not looking at a W. In the South Jersey Weather Center.
Keep him for the year. That's fine. But after that, no.
This is Cosmo Torino, Headmaster.
All right, I got 30 seconds.
Parents often attach the most importance to higher education, yet elementary school has a far greater impact. Except for family and religion, no institution is more influential in the life of your child. Let's talk about how you can afford the solid educational foundation and social foundation that are the hallmarks of Woodland education. Call 856-453-8499 and mention SMJ today for an instant $3,000 transfer credit. Start investing in your child's bright future today.
Welcome back to Sports Talk with Broach for the last segment of this show. We will talk a little bit about the Phillies right now, and listen, I'm so pumped about the Eagles draft. I know we still have a couple picks left here today, and I love what we did so far. I'm super pumped for the Sixers tonight. It's going to be literally unbelievable. But that's just for the last segment here. Let's go over the Phillies, because the Phillies win yesterday at home to beat a Miami Marlins team after losing the first game in extra innings, where the middle of our lineup was disgraceful, just horrible, and everyone's on a slump at the same time. It's literally ridiculous, in my opinion, how that happens. JT went 0 for 4. Harper went 0 for 3. Hoskins went 0 for 4. Franco went 0 for 4, and 13 strikeouts in that 10-inning loss. You have to be better. At one point, we had Andrew McCutchen on third base with one out. Bryce Harper pops up. Rhys Hoskins gets out. That's the moneymaker. That's the beauty of the lineup. That has to produce a run, and we lose in extra innings. And one thing I like out of that, though, is Gabe Kapler elected to make this statement. I had a gut feeling to pull Hector Neris in the 10th, and I didn't do it. And you know me, going back to last year, I despised Gabe Kapler. But what I loved out of that moment yesterday was growth as a manager. I talk about it all the time with Ben. I talk it all the time about it with Brett Brown. Gabe Kapler has grown as a manager when he made that statement that he had a gut feeling and he didn't go against it. You learn from that. The next time you have that gut feeling, you change the decision. That actually made me really happy. And I'm someone that does not like Gabe Kapler, but I have changed my opinions on him for this year. I gave him the clean slate, and he's done a good job to this point. There was maybe one time, because I don't even blame the loss on the Hector Neris not being pulled. It's the offense, and there's nothing he could do about that. They're just not hitting. I blame one loss so far on Gabe Kapler due to overmanaging the bullpen. Other than that, he's done an exceptional job, and I especially like the way he's kind of trying to package this lineup together as we have some injuries. And Gene Segura should be back in the lineup today against the Marlins for that 6 o'clock start. So last night we win 4-0. Jared Eichhoff, man, where did this come from? He's been injured. He's been through a grind of a journey. 7 innings. 2 hits, 0 earned run in the shutout. He was awesome. The off-speed pitches were dynamic. Executing the strike zone. Making a statement early. Inside corner. Outside corner. Being a threat all around the plate. Punching guys out when he needed to. Jared Eichhoff was awesome. Even threw some Jake Arrieta in there. Ground outs. Lots of ground outs. What an awesome performance with his 6 strikeouts. Dominating. So one thing we did too is we took an early lead. JT Realmuto, 1-0. Bang, bottom of the first. Gets revenge on his old squad. Franco, it's a dinger. Solo shot. 2-0. Bottom of the 8th. Bryce Harper is hitting the Who's Your Daddy, What's He Do? Bomb to the second deck and a 2-run shot to give us a 4-0 lead. We only had 6 hits. All right, it wasn't like we had an obnoxious amount of hits, but the power was there. The power of the lineup was there, and it was finally awesome to see. Bryce Harper's been in a slump. There's no denying that. You can't deny that. Hopefully, this is something that'll snap him out of it. He went for the batting gloves, then the no batting gloves, then a different bat, then new batting gloves. Something mentally to kind of get him and spark him up out of this slump, and he finally kind of got off off that a little bit last night. He had 2 really nice swings, actually. One didn't go out because of the wind. He could have had 2 dingers early on in this game. There was one ball that carried all the way out to the outfield and just didn't go. So we got some help yesterday, though. The Nats lost. The Braves lost. The Brewers beat the Mets. We're 14-12 now. And we finish off this series with 2 more games. And it's tied 1-1 right now. This division actually might come down to beating the Marlins the most. Because you take a look at, I heard this stat with the Yankees and the Red Sox last year. We know how close the battle was. The Red Sox obviously got on this hot stretch. The Yankees had over 100-something games. But when you come down to teams under 500 and the teams that are not good in this league, take a look at what the Boston Red Sox did to them last year compared to the Yankees. And that's the difference. That was the difference. The Yankees were not beating up on the garbage teams and the Red Sox were. This division might actually come down to who destroys the Marlins the most. At home, I will not be okay with a 2-2 split with the Marlins. You go out to Colorado in a 4-game set to a team that was struggling but turned the page and they were on a hot streak, and I go out there and say, we split with the Rockies on a road trip. Fine, I will take it. We ended up going 1-3, which made it worse, but that's a different scenario. Marlins at home? Nope. Demand. I demand a 3-1 series at this point. And today we have Jake Arrieta on the mound, and this is big for Jake. He was complaining. He complained to the team. He said, I performed. I didn't have my own teammates behind my back. Bryce Harper got thrown out, all that stuff. And he's on the mound today, so I need to see how he performs. He talked a lot of smack, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Some people were upset. I can't believe Jake brought it to the media. I can't believe Jake did this. I'm cool with Jake doing what he did, being a veteran leader. What I need to see after that is someone stepping up and performing to defend that. You can't talk like that and then go out there and go 4 innings, 6 strikeouts. And listen, I'm not saying he has been, because Jake Arrieta has been one of our better pitchers this year. He's been solid. But he can't throw up a 4 2/3 day. He can't throw up a 5-inning day. He's got to go out there and be legit, go 6, 7 innings. He's got to be dominant. It's funny because this team has hit a monstrous slump here, late April. And, you know, we're reacting emotionally. And late April, how early is that in the season, right? We're 26 games in and we're 14-12. But it's been so ugly, and our bread and butter has been our lineup, and I hate to use the excuse that, well, Gene Segura's not in there. I know how much that changes everything. I know you go to our opening day roster compared to what we have right now with Sean Rodriguez and Aaron Altair and Nick Williams. I know it's not the same. I get all that. But we should still have enough. And when you lose games to the Marlins because JT goes 0 for 4, even though he ended up tipping, I think, 25 balls that game, and Bryce Harper goes 0 for, and Franco goes 0 for, and your guys that are in there that should still be able to perform are not getting the job done. It's a little frustrating. And I still know how early it is in the season. But, you know, I just think we could be better than 14-12, and we can maybe get a little bit more of a comfortable lead than we have with the Mets right now. And I don't think anyone's going to run away with this division at all throughout the entire season. It's just going to be this way, but it would be nice because there are some games that we dropped. So to summarize here on the show and what we have here for the next couple of days, which is awesome. The Eagles have some picks to make left. 2 more. Are they going to attack the defensive side? Maybe. I would assume they would. Whether it's linebacker, corner, I feel like they will. I can't imagine them going with another offensive skill player. But what I liked so far, I liked all of it. I did. JJ, Arcega-Whiteside, good pick. Were there other things on the table? Maybe, yeah. But that doesn't mean he's not a good pick. He's going to be a good player. And I trust Howie Roseman. So left tackle, running back, and Miles Sanders, which is awesome. I would have never expected it. I know Howie Roseman doesn't value the running back position like others. I know that. So to see him go and take someone at 2, I love it. And he walks into the media room after and says, hey, look, guys, we do draft running backs in Philadelphia, which made me laugh a little bit. So I'm very happy with that, and I love the left tackle, running back, wide receiver tandem. Give Carson Wentz weapons. Tonight, I think the Sixers go in there and stun them. even with Zahir Smith playing minutes, a nice stun in Toronto, silence the crowd, silence the critics, make a statement. The team's going to build up all the underdogness, if you will, because no one believes in us. Maybe they thrive off that and take it to the next level. I think it's a possibility. But don't overreact to one game. Whether it's a win, whether it's a loss, keep that in mind. It is a series for a reason. This is somewhat of a feel-out game, but it would be really nice to get the job done at the end of the day. It really would be. It would be a nice stunner, and regardless, I think we need to split in Toronto. So whether that's game 1 or game 2, we should come out with one of these victories. One of these games here has to get done in our favor. It's as simple as that. So thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Sports Talk with Broads. It was lovely. No Mike today. He's actually referee, if you will. I don't know if he's a good referee or not. I need to see him in action. I want to see if he's like the NHL refs where they won't use him for round 2 of the playoffs for making mistakes. Listen, I know how fast that tempo can be out there with those 8 and 9-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the Sixers game tonight. I hope you enjoyed the weekend. Have a phenomenal weekend, whether you're sitting back, relaxing on the couch, watching some sports, whether you're going out and doing some things with your family, having some cold ones, whatever you might do. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and we will be back next Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power, your hometown solar experts. Thank you so much.